All right, how's it going, everybody? Today we have Lou on. We're going to be talking about business. Lou is the owner of Mosquito Authority in Rochester and Milford locations. He also owns an awesome business called Holiday Lighting Authority. Lou, how's it going, man?
I'm good. I'm good, Hayden. Appreciate you having me on. Excited to answer some questions, so feel free to fire away. I'm open book today.
100%. Here we go. But yeah, honestly, just to kind of start us out here, for anybody that doesn't know you or know your story, kind of just give us like a little bit of an introduction. So, you know, where you're from, kind of how you got into business, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. I'm from the Metro Detroit area, born and raised. I'm about 45 minutes north of the city. Grew up in the area, went to Michigan State University. Not really sure what I wanted to do when I went to school there, to be honest with you. Was kind of just figuring it out as I went, and I changed my major a few times and ended up finishing out in social sciences, which is basically like a BS degree if we're being honest with each other. But
me too.
Yeah, so graduated from there, and I got into I always had really good relationship building skills, sales people. So I knew I wanted to get into something like that, but I just wasn't sure what that looked like. So when I first graduated, I had a small minor in human resources and got my first job doing recruiting. And then I worked in the recruiting industry for about a decade, a little bit less, right around there though. And then the Mosquito Authority thing was pretty random, to be honest with you. It kind of just happened out of the blue. I was working in recruiting. I was mainly working with like IT and engineering professionals on that side. So like I was doing well. I worked for 2 or 3 different companies. It was all good. I kind of just got tired of like the corporate rat race, and I knew that to achieve the goals and the dreams that I have, I couldn't do that working underneath somebody. So I was just trying to figure out the best way to find a business that I could run, that I enjoy doing, that that's profitable, and that I just enjoy doing. So I was actually reached out on LinkedIn from one of the franchise salespeople at Mosquito Authority, and did some WebExes. I went down to North Carolina, met with the team, saw how they operate, did all that type of stuff, and figured that this would be kind of a good opportunity for me. No experience in the pest industry, no experience with any of that. I just knew that like I could sell, and I was a good business person, and I would figure it out as I went, which has been pretty much 100%. Like the story of my life. Like just say yes and figure it out,
Right.
So
just kind of you don't know exactly how it'll work out, but you won't quit, you'll keep going, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So I got into Mosquito Authority, just finished up my 3rd season this year with them, and then this is our 3rd season as well with Holiday Lighting that we're wrapping up here in the next couple weeks as well.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So back to just on when you were doing recruiting, were you conducting interviews and hiring people and kind of stuff like that?
Yep. So I was doing the whole thing from, a company that we worked for. They would send us, open position, let's say a system engineer. So I would go into our stuff. I would search for a system engineer. I'd interview these people. I would present 3 or 4 of the best people that I interviewed to the client. Then I would set up like the interview with the candidate and everything like that, and then walk them through like the offer, counter offers, everything that goes into somebody making a career change. So we basically worked with the client from start to finish, and kind of held their hands in that.
Awesome. And so so one day you just get a message on LinkedIn from the folks at Mosquito Authority, and kind of, I'm interested to kind of hear like, what is that process like? So like they reach out to you, obviously it's a franchise, so all these different locations. Did they invite you directly to come down and kind of see what they were doing? Did you have like a conversation with somebody?
Yeah. So
just to kind of,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it started off with just like WebExes. Here's information to look up. Here's some pamphlets to check out. These are other franchises in the same area. These are the numbers that they're doing. So I went through a few meetings with the salesperson on the franchise side, just to make sure that everything made sense and it was something that I was actually interested in and wanted to move forward with before I went down to North Carolina. That's where they're headquartered at. So once I did all that stuff, I was like, yeah, this is interesting. I'd like to know more. I want to keep going with it. And then they brought me down to North Carolina. They walk you through their CRM system, customers, complaints they deal with, the whole 9 yards of the business. And then like a week later, I went back to Charlotte where they have one of their top franchisees at, and I stayed with them for like 3 days. I did 1 day out in the field and did 2 days in the office, and they show you how to do your routing, billing, that all that type of stuff. And then after that, it was all systems go pretty much.
Heck yeah. So, okay, cool. So you go down there, you kind of get like the gist of what they're doing. They show you how to operate and all that. What does it look like going from that to actually, okay, we're opening up the business profile in Michigan? Are they kind of like holding your hand the first couple months? Or are they like watching over you, or what does it look like from going from, okay, I want to move forward and open up like a franchise location and getting support from the franchise?
Sure. Yeah. So the checks were cashed, the papers were signed, all that type of stuff. After that was done, they do a good job of helping you like get started. And my partner that I do the holiday lighting with, he's actually a Mosquito Authority owner as well. So him and I linked up because our territories were really close to each other, and the people that work at Mosquito Authority headquarters were like, hey, reach out to Mike, he's right by you, he'd probably be able to help you out with some stuff and all that. And I did, and me and Mike like ended up hitting it off. We're like really good buddies now. He's coming to my wedding and everything like that. We started the holiday lighting, and so it really worked out well. And then yeah, they kind of walk you through. The nice thing with a franchise is like the marketing's pretty much set up for you, the website's set up for you, everything is set up for you. All you have to do is just implement it how you want to do it and put your own spin on everything. So that's the one, the nice part with having a franchise is they have all the tools in place for you. And basically got everything set up, and then just started marketing and reaching out to, people that were close to me that I knew that lived in the area, who could they refer me to, and basically just kind of started building up a book of business from there. Because when I originally purchased the territories, there was maybe 10 or 15 customers from a prior person that had it, and other than that, there was nothing. So it was pretty much starting from ground zero.
Okay, so you purchased the territory, basically saying like, no other Mosquito Authority is going to be operating in this area. You kind of own that area in the sense that those customers are yours.
Yeah, so that's how it works with them, is like you purchase a certain territory within your state, and then if you have, let's say, Mike, for instance, had customers in my territory before I purchased it, you can work customers anywhere if the territory is not purchased. So it's kind of just fair game. Okay. But once somebody buys that territory, those customers automatically get transferred to that person.
Okay, cool. And gotcha. So obviously, just thinking about seasons with mosquitoes in Michigan, how did that go? Like, when were you stepping into owning it? Was it like right at the start of the season when everything was kicking off and mosquitoes are a problem, or did you have time to kind of adjust, or what was it like?
The first year was a little bit tough because I waited for the state for a long time to get my licenses back. There's a lot of like testing that you have to do to work with pesticides. So it took them a little while to get all my information back. So I kind of got a late start my first year. Late start being May, which doesn't seem like a late start, but like realistically, we start our marketing and everything like that in January and March, and then we don't actually start spraying backyards until the end of April, early May, and then we go through October, mid-October usually, depending on the weather towards the end of the year, but yeah.
Cool. So the first year of business, was it like, when you got to the end of it, was it, I mean, I've got to, just based on my own experience with being in the first year, almost wrapping up the first year, I know for me it's definitely been a fun ride, but definitely a roller coaster. Did you have those sorts of moments where it was like, holy crap, what have I gotten myself into? Sort of stuff,
absolutely, dude, absolutely. At the time when I purchased it, I had broken up with my girlfriend at the time. I moved back home. I was living in my parents' basement for a few years when I started this. So I built this whole thing from my mom and dad's basement, basically. Cool this past year, I purchased a home, getting married, doing all that stuff. So like everything's been lucrative. Everything has worked out according to plan. You know, it takes time, and that's the big thing with a lot of people coming up in business. You think that somebody opens up a business, they're making all this money, they got all this stuff coming into them. It's so far from that. It's not even funny.
Right.
Especially your first 3 years, all you're paying for is to like live. Like, you're paying your bills, you're paying to have food and gas. Like, I didn't make any money that I actually like kept in my account until the 3rd year. Right. You know, because all of it was being reinvested into the business. My 2nd year, I hired an employee. 3rd year, I bought another territory, got another truck, hired another employee. So all the money just keeps cycling back into it to build it up to, you know, where you want to be at.
For sure. Just kind of having, and that's probably important too, just another point to touch on, and something that I need to keep in mind. I think right now it's, you know, it can feel like that maybe at the earlier stages you're scrambling to do, you know, everything, and but kind of having a long-term vision of like where it's going, and knowing that you're kind of laying the foundation. Maybe just, you know, the first couple years not needing to explode like you see with the, you know, the guys on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah,
that start a business, and
exactly. And that's kind of what I'm referring to. Like, that stuff is so beyond bullshit. Like, you will never be successful overnight unless you like hit the lottery or something, you know? Like, otherwise, it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's more than just saying that you're going to put in the hours. Like, everybody says stuff like that. It's a matter of fact is, are you doing it? Are you going to, like, this year, I'm not like trying to boast or anything, but like this year in particular, on my birthday, I drove out to Fort Gratiot for 9 hours and did Christmas lights. You know, like, that's the part of the stuff where it's like, it's easy to say you can work, like, oh, I'll work anytime when it's convenient for you. When it's not convenient, are you willing to like go and do that type of stuff? That will separate you from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is funny too, because, and I'm sure a lot of people that start a business can probably speak to it, but I mean, I think you're sold at, you know, seeing people, and it seems like this, oh, I'm gonna be my own boss, and I'm gonna, you know, people just sell you kind of this bill of goods, and then you actually start, and you're like, wow, this is, you know, 100 times harder than I could have ever possibly imagined.
Oh, for sure. And every day is a new problem, and you deal with stuff you never thought would be like an issue. It just happens over time, and you got to kind of roll with the punches and be able to fill in, and you have to be able to do every aspect of your business, because if somebody doesn't show up, you have to go and do the job. If there's an issue, you have to be the person to go out and do it. Otherwise, you're losing business, you're losing customers, and the last thing you want to do is having people out there referring you and saying that, hey, so and so doesn't do what they say they're gonna do.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, cool. So, and then it's so interesting, and I love when we started working together, because I had no idea that you also had the holiday lighting business, which I know we're partnered on now. But how did that get started? So you have Mosquito Authority kind of up and running. Was it in the first year, or did you have them both kind of, they started kind of in the same year, or did you get Mosquito Authority going, and then how did you kind of break into Christmas lighting?
Yeah, so I started it the first winter after my initial season with Mosquito Authority. So Renee and Mike, the other partners that have Mosquito Authority, we kind of were like talking, hanging out, you know, we were having some drinks or a cigar or something, and we kind of were just brainstorming like, hey, what can we do in the off season to make money? Obviously, I'm in Michigan, there's no bugs in the wintertime.
Right.
You know? So unless you're doing like commercial jobs inside buildings, you know, that I'm all exterior, so there's nothing to really do. So we kind of just were bouncing some ideas off each other, and saw this as an opportunity, and we actually linked up with a company down in Houston or Dallas, one of the two, called Certified Lights, and we went down there. We did a training program they had for 2 days in Texas, and they show you basically like how to set up the houses, same kind of deal that I did with Mosquito Authority. And then you know, we purchased lights from them as well, and then just kind of ran with it. You know, year one, it was a lot, yeah, for sure. It was tough, and like, you know, we're climbing on houses that are 3 foot high. They're not little, you know, so that was a lot. You know, we're up on ladders and doing a whole nother gamut, and trying to find employees to do seasonal work is another story. That's really tough. It was a lot of just learning curves and just kind of figuring it out as you go.
Yeah. So So you found the company down into, how did you get the connect to that? Was it something
Online. We found it, yeah, I think it was like Facebook or something like that. We just saw some ads for it, and they had a course, and so us three all went down there. We did everything. We're like, dude, this is pretty good. Like, the company we went down to absolutely like kills it. So we were like, all right, they're doing something here. How can we like do this? You know, it's a little easier to hang Christmas lights in Dallas because they don't have to deal with the weather, is one thing. But it's also a lot more of a saturated market because everybody and their brother is doing it down there, where it's definitely gained a lot of popularity over the last 3 years, I've noticed. Maybe because like my algorithm is all like me looking up Christmas light stuff. So anytime I go online, all I see is Christmas light companies and you know, businesses and everything like that. But yeah, it just kind of seemed like a good opportunity, and we ran with it. We purchased a trailer and outfitted the whole trailer. Got a goat, which was a new thing for me. It's basically like a long pole with a hook on the end. And you put it on the roof, and then there's like little handles and steps on it, so you can climb up without worrying about slipping down and stuff like that. So just learning a lot. Like, I've never done anything in roofing or anything like that, so learned a lot about the equipment and the tools you need, and issues that you run into and stuff like that. So it's been good, man. It's a lot
just of the safety too. You got to be careful where you're stepping, and
that's the one thing with the Christmas lights that's always pretty weary, because there is a lot of horror stories out there with companies that have had guys fall off a roof and break their leg and this and that, and it's just, there's not, you're pretty much screwed if that happens. So we do our best to take every safety precaution, get all the best equipment that we can to make sure the guys are safe out there, and so far so good. We've had no injuries, no problems, so knock on wood that everyone's been healthy and safe.
Awesome, cool. And are these, would you say for the Christmas lighting, are you building a pretty strong book? Like, this is something where they're going to be calling you next year, or would you say it's a lot of like one-time people, or hey, we want this up kind of?
I would say like it'd be an awesome. I'd say 75-80% is return customers. So we do 1-year contracts and we do 3-year contracts with people, and it basically locks you into that same price for 3 years. And then with the 3-year, you also get priority scheduling for the next year. So if you want to get your lights up right away after Halloween, so we started hanging lights October 1st. So some people want them up right away. So you get priority scheduling for the following year. You can also switch your colors year to year. That doesn't change the price for you. So if you do like warm white one year and you want to do multi-color the next year, you can change it. So you get a little bit more of like a personal service on the 3-year people. And then I know I was kind of showing you, but like we got these mugs made this year that have been a hit. It's got all of our 3-year customers' houses with the lights on there and our logo. So
the logos, I love your guys' logos so much. You got the ambulance now too?
Yeah. So this year we purchased an ambulance and wrapped it. That was a hit. So it's like a lot of it is just take chances, man. Spend money, and it goes along. Like these mugs, we will gain 10 more customers because we drop these mugs off easily. And all of the people, like, I like doing the Christmas lights 10 times more than the mosquitoes, if we're being honest with each other, because like, dude, the Christmas lights is just such an easy sell. Everyone's happy after. Okay, 99% of the people are happy. There's kids out, they enjoy it. They're all, it's Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. So that's always like, that feels good. It's like it's really nice to like not have to deal with like shitty customers.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I was gonna ask if you could choose one.
It would be like 10 times over.
Would you say that there's less headache in the lighting business, or would you say it's just kind of its own sort of challenges?
Yeah, they definitely both have their challenges. I would say it's the thing with lights is it's 2 months of a dead sprint. So we're just 7 days a week, October through November. So it's a lot. It wears on you. We're doing a lot, but for the most part, it's not bad. The issue with pests is that you can't see it. So like you don't actually, you know what I mean? So that makes it tough. And this is a lot of stuff I learned over time, where you can't, like, unless if they go in their backyard and they're not getting bit up by any mosquitoes, they'll be like, oh, it's because of the weather. Oh, this or that, the other thing. It's not because we've been spraying for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, it's all these other things.
Right.
Or they'll call and be like, hey, your guy was here and he was only in the backyard for 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay, are you getting bit up by mosquitoes? Or they're like a bug issue? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, okay, well, what are we talking about then?
What's the problem?
Yeah. So it's just easier when you can provide a service that people can go there and be like, okay, I see that it was done.
It's very concrete, right?
Yeah.
Like you've put the lights up. They know, they see the service. Not
Right.
It is kind of funny, you know. You did the job on the mosquito side, but it's like somebody's complaining about something.
Right.
You know,
100%. They'll be like, did your guy come by the house? That's why I actually prefer when people have a Ring doorbell or like security cameras at their house, because they can see you, that they're there. And like, you know, with this industry, I have heard a lot of stories where, you know, our competitors will have a guy say that he's going out and spraying all these houses and he'll be sitting in the parking lot at McDonald's. So that's something that does happen. So, you know, just a lot of integrity comes with this, and just being honest with your customers, and, you know, just the normal stuff that how you want to be treated type deal. So that's the difference between the bugs and lights. The bugs is like, unless they're there physically and they see you, you know, there's always just, I don't know, it's a little bit more of a headache.
Yeah.
The lights are concrete. You come home, they're on the house. That's what we ordered.
No, I was gonna say too, because I mean, being from Michigan and understanding how annoying mosquitoes are, it does make sense where like you could potentially get wrongly blamed first. You know, somebody's sitting on their porch and a mosquito bites them. It's like, oh, what happened to the spraying? Where
100%.
You've eliminated
you're gonna get that no matter what.
Issue.
But I'll honestly say 85-90% of my customers for mosquito are great. They're awesome. But
That's awesome.
It doesn't matter what type of business. You're always going to have that 5% of people that are just tough to deal with.
I was going to ask you too, and you know, for personal advice as well. But how do you deal with the tough customers? Is it, you know,
kind of just kill them with kindness?
Process?
You know, you kind of just kill them with kindness and just sorry. You know, just kind of. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it, but you just gotta kind of kill them with kindness. You know, just make sure, you know, and it gets to a point where some of them you just have to cut it off. And it's nice where I'm at the point now where I can just tell customers like, hey, I apologize that our product's not working out for you. You might be better off just going and finding somebody else to do it for you since our service isn't working. Here's a full refund on anything that we did. It's not worth $80. You know, like getting a 1-star review on Google is not worth $80. Just bite the bullet when you're dealing with these type of people, and just be nice, you know, and just let them go, and they're gonna act how they act.
Yeah, 100%. I had one of my guys that I was talking to, and he got to hop on an interview. I asked him a similar question. He said, first thing he said was, "We'll keep it PG in terms of you know what you would want to say or how you would deal with customers."
Yeah.
Awesome. And I know we've been partnered together on your reviews. How do you think reputation impacts a business? What's been your experience getting reviews in the past, and kind of, you know, how's everything working with you with what we're doing together?
Yeah, no, you've knocked it out of the park, Hayden, for real. Like, the reviews have been awesome. It makes a huge difference. Everything that, you know, I do for our service industry businesses, the first thing you do is you go on Google and type in Christmas lights near me or pest control near me. If you don't have that online presence, and especially with bugs, it's who's the cheapest, who can get here right away. So like cheapest I stay away from, because those people are always going to be a problem. If there's somebody that calls you and says, hey, can you match so-and-so's prices? As soon as you say yes, they're going to call the next person and say, hey, can you match so-and-so's prices? Do not work with those type of people. If they're penny pinching you for $5-10 here and there, I promise you the money is not worth it. It's going to be a much bigger headache weeks down the road.
Yeah, 100%. I asked a similar question on the last interview. I had the opportunity to have one of my guys on. I asked him biggest advice, you know, he would give to somebody starting a business, and he said learning how to say no. So learning how to say no to customers, which is still something I'm trying to work on, you know, especially at the beginning. It's like you're hustling.
That's the biggest thing is when you first start out, you want to get as much business as you can. You're just saying yes to do as much as you can. And it takes time to get to that point where you can start saying no. And it's amazing when you get there. It's such a breath of fresh air, because it's going to save you so many headaches. You think that making an extra $100-200 or whatever off this person is worth it. It's really not.
No, just drain all your time and energy.
Yeah,
and
you're
just,
driving out there multiple times. You're on the phone with them. You're respraying it. You're doing, God knows what. But it's just a constant headache, and it's just not worth it. And it's just let them go.
Right, 100%. Cool. Yeah, and I would ask the same question to you. If you could, and maybe just think back to yourself, like you're in that first year. What's a piece of advice you would give to either yourself or anybody that's watching this that's because I connect with people all the time that are thinking about starting a business or they've always wanted to, but they're worried about this, that, and the other thing. What's something a piece of advice you could give to somebody that's deciding to kind of take the jump and just start?
I would probably just say like don't be scared. Don't do it. Just take the chance. Like, you got one life, you got one opportunity. Your 9 to 5 is gonna be there forever. You can do that anytime. It's not going anywhere. Go out there and try to make something up. Try to build a business. It's 10 times more gratifying for me, like waking up and working on everything I do is for me, for the business, for my personal self, for my family, my friends, like all that type of stuff. I don't wake up and answer to a boss. I don't have to sit through and pretend like I'm making phone calls to hit my numbers and all that other bullshit that comes with sales jobs.
Yep.
Like you work for yourself. If you don't get up and go out and do it, you're not gonna make any money that day. So it's just motivating.
Right.
It's awesome, dude. I love it. It's a challenge. Some days suck. They do. It's like that with anything. Just keep going forward, because a lot of times too is like you'll have a couple days that are pretty crappy, and then the next day like you'll pop off 5 new people and everything changes.
Right.
So like you don't know how close you are to success. Just keep working at it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I think we should end on that. That was incredible. I really appreciate you hopping on. I know you're incredibly busy, and I just want to say, thank you so much. To be able to highlight your story, highlight kind of where you came to where you are now, and just to hear more about Mosquito Authority. If anybody's having mosquito problems this upcoming year, Mosquito Authority Rochester, Mosquito Authority Milford, and any Christmas lights, Holiday Lighting Authority is your go-to. So thank you, Lou, for hopping on.
You got it, Hayden. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.